The government's plans to release a COVID-19 contract tracing app has come under criticism, with MPs such as Barnaby Joyce and Lou O'Brien arguing that it gives too much personal data to the federal government. Does it? Political reporter with The Australian, Richard Ferguson's in Canberra, and he joins me now. Richard, you've been the one right across this from the get-go. There's plenty of different versions of apps that do this sort of thing, track contacts that someone might have with someone who either then or later on develops coronavirus. What is the proposed app for Australia, and does it breach privacy, as some might claim?
So what makes this app slightly different than other versions, Peter, is that basically you download it and you volunteer to use it, which is a big difference than, say, the proposal put forward by Google and Apple. They had a joint proposal on an app, which basically it would be compulsory, everyone would have it. So how this particular app works is that once you download the app and you've accepted your information, you've accepted to use the app, you will be engaged in kind of digital handshakes via your Bluetooth with everyone around you. So no matter where you go, it will pick up data from other phones. It won't say where you are or who you are until it's encoded in your kind of personal code. And then if you get coronavirus, that code will be uploaded to a database along with all the other codes that you've come into contact with. Does it breach privacy concerns? Well, the number one big thing is, as I said at the beginning, this is a voluntary app. So you have to consent to give that information to the government. Now, in the Google-Apple proposal, they say it protects privacy the best because your name, your data, your contact numbers, they're not revealed until you test positive. But the whole idea for the Google-Apple proposal is that everyone would have to have the app and it would be compulsory and all that data would be stored. This is the big difference. Now, the privacy concerns have not been finalised by the government. The Attorney General, Christian Porter, is still looking into how they would fit into our privacy laws. But once the app is finalised, in a couple of weeks, they will be releasing the privacy assessment and they will be releasing the code base for basically exactly how this app works and how everything's encrypted. And I think that will go a long way into assuaging some of the privacy concerns that people have.
And of course, nothing actually materialises in terms of an information transfer to the government or to the health authorities, whoever might be the designated body, unless someone that your phone has done, let's call it, the digital handshake with, that's connected to via Bluetooth at any part of your given day, unless someone in that circle of contact themselves has coronavirus, or indeed you test positive yourself. So, other than that triggering some sort of escalation of your details to the health authorities, it's just a continual touching base of those that you might come in contact with, just, I guess, to protect you, to know who was in your contact at any given moment of any given day.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I mean, another thing is that, it will pick up the data of other people who have consented to use the app. So everyone that's involved will have consented. And as well as the privacy concerns, there are concerns on the other side of the equation, Peter. My colleague Ben Packham reported last week that there are concerns that the threshold that Scott Morrison has set, that 40% of Australians need to download this app, may actually be too low, which is one of the reasons why the questions were raised about, is it voluntary or compulsory? So there are two sides to this debate.
Let me just jump in there. Just jump in there. If 40% is too low, and let's say it doesn't get to where it should be, or it doesn't even get to 40%, is there the risk then, if not enough of us have this app, that there could be a false sense of security, that you go around and you haven't got anything flashing up, that you've been close to anyone that's tested positive? But of course, that relies on those people to be on the app. If they're not on the app, you could easily have had the contact with them and be lulled into a sense of false security.
Yes, exactly. So I think that would be the major concern, is that if people don't have the app, or if everybody else doesn't have the app, then the whole system kind of falters apart and we have to go back to our current contact tracing regime, which is basically person to person done by the health department. Though, interestingly, in terms of will people take up the app, well, I spoke to Dr. Katie Allen, who's been one of the MPs enlisted into this new government task force on COVID-19, and she pointed out that obviously last year there was a huge kerfuffle over the rollout of My Health, the database that most GPs are now able to access with your data, and there was a lot of privacy concerns over that. Well, Peter, it turns out that only 10% of Australians actually opted out of using that system. So the suggestion that our previous...
I was in that 10%. I was in that 10%.
Well, Peter, though it's interesting though that data may suggest that most Australians would be willing, but of course the difference with that system that you opted out of, Peter, is that was an opt-out system, whilst this is an opt-in system. So I guess we're still having to see how that actually will play out.
All right, well, we'll follow it closely, Richard. Your analysis has been great. I've been reading it most days, so keep it up and we'll see where we land over the next few days and weeks. Thank you for your time tonight.